Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. My name is Midway and today I bring you something a little bit different. This time around we're not looking at a WoW video, but instead we're gonna be checking out a mobile game called Age of Origins. Now I gotta say this is a sponsored video, but I'm gonna run you through what the game is like and you'll see that's actually a very fun game.
Age of Origins is a tower defense city building strategy mobile game. In this game, you take command of a city that sits in the middle of a post-apocalyptic world. With the help of your assistants and troops, you will expand your city, develop research technology and fend off waves of invasive zombies. While developing your city, you as a commander can seek to build diplomatic ties with commanders from other cities. The end goal? Creating the most powerful city for a doomsday world. In Age of Origins, you have the power to recruit a vast array of mighty troops to fight by your side against the forces of the doomed wasteland. Take on hordes of ravenous zombies, rescue helpless civilians from the ruins of the old city, and join forces with your alliance in a quest for domination and glory. Recruit and collect a diverse array of officers to lead your army to victory and grant your troops and city powerful buffs. From cunning strategists to fierce warriors, each officer possesses unique abilities that can turn the tide of battle in your favor. Build powerful titans, serve as the unstoppable might of your army and wreak havoc amongst your enemies. Participate in nerve-wracking PvP battles where timing and strategy are the keys to victory. With stunning graphics and immersive gameplay, this mobile game will take you on an adrenaline-filled journey like no other. Are you ready to step up to the challenge and become the ultimate commander? Download Age of Origins now with the link in the description and let the battle begin.
So here we are, this is Age of Origins. Now I'm gonna run you down through what this game is about real quick. So as you can see, this is my city inside the game, and it is a city building game, a game where you are a commander of a city within a pretty doomed world. Actually, it's full of zombies, and when we go to the outside world, you can see there's many different other cities. So my city is right here. There's this one thing, this one big thing where the dragon is, because I have a skin for my city. But as you can see, every other little building like those around me are different other players that are situated within the world, and the world is absolutely massive. As you can see, there's actually more to it than just that. As you can see, we can also look at this kind of map where we see the other members of our alliance are these green dots. But then you can also scroll out and see that there's not only one single world, but there's many different worlds. In our case, we are in a nation. The nations are like your server. And we have many different servers, many different nations, but there's also globes, there's many other planets and such. So, yep, the game is massive, there's many different people here, and you can go ahead and watch them and such, and you can be curious and move to other planets and see what they're doing. But in our own nation, this is where we are actually playing, and as you can see, we have my own city. So let me run you down through what this is like. So, you have your usual troop recruiting buildings, which you can go to, and then you can get your troops to come out of there, and then they can fight for you. In this case, well, you can see we can recruit some Viking ladies, we can recruit some mechanical tanks. In this case, we have some guns and some tanks and such. And as you level up higher and higher, the troops in this case are gonna just look cooler and of course be stronger. So you can upgrade the buildings to make, in this case, your troops stronger. Some of the buildings we have other functionalities. For example, here we have the academy, where you can go ahead and research different technology. The more technology you research, the stronger your city and your troop is gonna get. In this case, we are researching oil gathering 1 to make our gathering of oil just a lot more efficient. So it's now doing it. It's gonna take a little while. It's the kind of game where you have to wait or speed up your researches and stuff. So you require some patience, but that's what the game is about. You can let things being done, and once you come back after work, you can go ahead and claim your prize. So we also have, of course, the resource gathering part of the game. We will have 3 or actually 4 different kind of resources. We have food, we have oil, and then we have steel and minerals. All those different resources you're gonna be able to use in different aspects of the game. The 2 most basic ones are food and oil, and as you can see here in the field, I have many different types of buildings here. And if you let me look at this, like once I move it, you can see what the types of buildings are. As you can see, farms are these ones right here, which you can of course upgrade to get more efficient and therefore get more resources out of. Then you have your oil refineries here, and you want to be keeping these leveled up as much as possible in order to get a lot of resources, because once you kind of run out of resources, which has happened to me now, for example, then you cannot upgrade some of the buildings. In this case, I need to upgrade my city hall, which is this building right here. As you can see, I'm out of oil, so I'm gathering some, and I am recollecting that with my my refineries, in order to be able to upgrade my main building, which is the city hall. Now the city hall is what determines the max level of other buildings within your city. If your city hall is low level, then your other buildings will be capped at that level. And as you can see here, it has some requirements as well. It requires, in this case, for me to upgrade my city wall to level 17 and training grounds to level 17. So it's gonna force you to be upgrading different buildings in your city in order to keep them up to certain levels, so you don't just rush the city hall, because the city hall provides a big power boost and also unlocks many different things within the game. There's also other things about this game. For example, this building right here, this is where you take care of your Titan, which where you actually upgrade it, make it stronger, where you put stuff into it. In, like, for example, you can evolve it, making it unlock new abilities that we didn't have before. You can upgrade such abilities by using some other items and then making it do a lot more damage. You can upgrade the level of the Titan in order to just make its stats go higher and higher. And once you reach a certain point, in this case evolution, then you can also upgrade the Titan to unlock his gear and upgrade such gear to give it new stuff and new abilities, and overall making your Titan stronger. As you can see, you also have a second Titan, which has a different set of abilities, different set of talents, different set of everything, and they will be providing a massive power boost. This number right here, that is the power level of your Titan. In the case of my own city or my account here, you can see I am at 710k power level, you could call it. And then you can go ahead and check your power ranking. Once you go in here in your profile tab, you can see my power ranking is extremely high right now. It's one of the best in the server. If you go over here, it's 77, but yeah, there's people that are way higher than me, so I got a lot of work to do to get over there. And it's quite fun to be able to compare yourself to others in that way, but I am in the best alliance in my server so far, so at least I am strong enough to be able to be part of the big boys here. But yeah, you have your Titans, you have your normal troops, which you can recruit over there. There's different kind of troops, different kind of buildings where you can get troops out of. For example, here you can recruit infantry and such. You can have human troops, you can have then the tech troops. In this case, we have some much more cooler boys, which as you level up, they're just going to be getting cooler and cooler and cooler. Much more technical troops. Then you have, of course, your researchers, as talked about. And you have your troops here in the camp. You can see them as you upgrade them. They will run from the buildings all the way to the yard, and then you can send them over to fight. So there's many different buildings. I explained some of the most basic ones pretty quickly. Now let me run you down through what the map is also looking like. As I mentioned before, there's other buildings here, but there's also the zombies where you can go ahead and kill them actually. But the zombies will drop some loot. They will actually be part of, like, once you kill a zombie of a certain level for the first time, you will also get special stuff out of it. And there's many different kinds of zombies. You can go ahead and hunt them by using this little panel right here. You can set the level of the hunt at the level you want, and you can send your troops to kill that zombie. For example, let me kill a zombie of level 19. Why not? Let's do that. So you can see the zombie here. I can select it, and then I go to attack. I see that my power level is high enough because it's higher than the enemies. It's not always like that, but in the case of PvE, in this case, if your power level is going to be higher than the enemy's power level, then you will win. So now that I sent my troops, they're going to be going from my own city, which is right here. As you can see, there's this little car. Those are my troops. They're going to be running from my city all the way to the zombie. It's going to be indicated by this green arrow, and once they reach the zombie, they will fight it and then we'll kill it. Now in this case, the fight is going to be pretty simple. It's going to be over as soon as they get there, but once you are fighting other cities, which you can do and we will be doing in a second, you actually have a little animation of what the fight looks like, and you can follow it along for a couple seconds. It doesn't last too long, but you can see how your troops are fighting the enemy troops and who wins. Then there's also other things to point out in the world. For example, there's the farmsteads, there's buildings within the world that I'm going to be showing you right now. There is alliance buildings that you own, and in this case you have different mines, like mines for food, for oil, for the different types of resources that you can find in the world, and you can send your troops to those mines, and then once they get there, they will stay there for a couple hours or however long you wanted to, and they will be gathering resources for you. So you have two avenues of getting resources. You can get resources from your city, and then resources from other activities, such as gathering in the outside world. And here's my troops. They got to the zombie, they killed it, and now they're going back. So they got actually travel. Traveling is very important in this game. It's one of the big factors that determines who wins in many cases. Once you are attacking something, your troops have to go from your base to that place, and once you are defending something, same thing applies. You have to send your troops and make them reach that destination before the enemy reaches there, because you have a pretty short window of time where the troops will actually fight, or if the enemy troops reach a place before there's any defending troops, they probably will just crush the place down pretty quick, and therefore you will have just send your troops for nothing. So timing, pretty important in this game. There's a lot of strategy involved, a lot of mind games involved. You can always speed up your troops by using certain items that you can unlock and you can buy. But yep, that's the core basis of the world map. There is other city types and other building types. For example, there is the city ruins. Let me see if I can find them, where you can also go ahead and rescue some civilians, and you can get some other stuff out of it by doing some daily runs. I will go ahead and do a video further down the line where I will be explaining what my daily routine and what like a daily routine for pretty much anybody in this game should look like, so you know how to min-max your just efficiency in upgrading yourself and just getting stronger within this game, so you can know what to do. But here is the city ruins, where you can also explore and do some other events, which we'll be explaining down the line. But yeah, now this game, as a game that's been going on for 4 years, getting new updates and such, has many different sorts of minigames and game modes. In this case, I'm gonna explain to you the tower defense game mode, which is actually pretty fun. I really enjoy it, but there it is here. We're gonna go into it, so you can find it within your city. You will get to actually experience it when you do the tutorial, which I will also be explaining at some point. But then you have this building right here, this little tower defense post, where you can go in there and you can fight either infinite waves of zombies, where you just go as far as you can, as usual, and then you can also fight the classic mode, where you have different stages. In this case, I find myself in stage number 14. There's a normal mode and there's a hard mode. I'm gonna go ahead and just do the normal mode for now, because I still haven't done the hard mode. I don't really know how that's gonna work, but yeah, there's different types of stages. Each stage has different aspects to it, different layouts, different zombies, and there's also gonna be the weapons that you use, that they are gonna be upgrading as you go through the stages. In this case, I unlocked a new stage, and therefore, or rather, I unlocked a new level for my laser weapon. So there's different kinds of weapons. Each of them have different abilities and different types of damage. So one of them is, for example, the AoE cannon here is gonna be shooting some rockets, and the rockets are gonna be doing AoE damage. AoE damage is pretty handy at the beginning of a stage, because it's gonna hit every single zombie, and there's gonna be a lot of those clumped up zombies. But you also need single target damage. For example, here we have the dogs that are going to be running loose, so I'm going to make sure that they don't actually succeed in that regard. But yeah, you also have to be mindful of your resources, of course, as in many other tower defense games. You have to spend your stuff in time, you have to spend it wisely, so you upgrade what you really need, and you don't waste your points in stuff that's not actually going to help you out down the line. But here it looks like these zombies might just run past me, because I have been a bit too slow in spending my points, because I'm talking and I'm not really thinking about the layout. But the game mode actually gets pretty complicated, and there's many things to think about. Actually, it's not just simply drop the towers and that's about it. You have to actually try and test several times, and there's enough different types of towers to actually have quite an engaging gameplay for this to be a minigame within the actual big game. Now, this is a very PvP focused game, and overall it's a very community focused game, where you will be having to find an alliance, as I do here, and you will then be fighting versus other alliances, versus other NPCs like elite zombies and such. There will be different events where you join up together to fight stuff, but you can also go ahead in the world and just randomly attack anybody you want, even those from your own alliance, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken there. But in any case, yep, I can go ahead here. For example, as you can see, my city is this one right here, as we mentioned before, and I can go and attack anybody that I want. For example, this guy right here, he's a lot lower level, so I'm gonna be nice and not attack him. I'm gonna try and find somebody that's maybe a little bit more on par with me, so let's go ahead and do that. You gotta scout though, and some people, for example, this guy, they do have shields, which makes it so that you cannot attack them, but it's not the case for this guy. For example, he's a little bit lower level than me, so it's gonna be still probably gonna be easy. But in the case, I'm gonna send everything that I have, so 100% of my troops are gonna be attacking this guy. Let's see what happens. So the troops are gonna be moving as I mentioned before, from my city to this guy's city. Now, people can send in reinforcements, so he's not in an alliance, therefore he's pretty much defenseless. But if he was in an alliance, he then would be able to have people send defenses to him so they can defend against my troops. I could also have scouted him, I could have looked up how many resources he has. I can get a lot of information from scouting depending on some of the levels of my buildings. So scouting actually is pretty important in the later game. Early on, it's just gonna be providing you information with how many resources you're gonna get out of it. So now in this case, you can see I have all my troops lined up here. They're gonna be showing up nice like this. You can see my Titan, the different types of troops are gonna be showing physically there. And now once they are getting here, as you can see, en routes lowering and lowering. Now that attack's gonna start, so here it is. My troops are here, the red ones. You can see the prediction of who's gonna win, and then you can see the blue troops, which are the ones from my opponent here. And the frame rate is actually a little bit low here. That's probably because of the emulator that I'm playing on. It's not actually the mobile phone. But we are now winning. We are defeating his Titan, and the city is destroyed. That means for us that we are now getting some resources. So let me delete some of the old mail. But if we go here, and we find the right mail, because I have a lot of mail opened up, you will be able to see how many resources we got out of that. So I did not, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it, there we go, here we go. So here is the report of the fight that we just did against this guy, and I got a lot of resources here, and as you can see, we also had some power loss, but they had a lot more. So what happened is, I killed a bunch of units, but then I also lost a bunch of units. So I lost 2,000 units. He did not lose any unit, but he lost a lot more enemy, a lot more power. Because he did kill a lot of mine, but I did kill a lot of him. You know, I did only wound their units. That's what happens when you are defending. You are not actually losing the troops. In this case, I somehow ended up having a lot of troops straight up die, because if you are the one on the offense, you will have some grinding to do. Therefore, your troops will eventually just die and therefore lose them forever. In his case, he's just gonna get them wounded, and therefore he's gonna have to just get him healed up through the hospital. In my case, I'm gonna have to get some newer troops from my barracks in my city. So that's how you PvP in a very simple way. PvP can get made a lot more complex in the case of other battles going on. For example, here we can see this guy is sending a lot of troops. We have a lot of people from our own alliance are attacking this guy. As you can see, 3 different players, or 3 different allies of my own alliance are sending their troops to attack, or 3 different fleets in this case as well, because there's also the concept of fleets. You can send them over and then they just crush, absolutely crush this guy, and that's what's happening here. He is getting stomped on because he's way lower level. But that is the simplest of PvPs. If you have more people involved, then it gets a lot more complex, a lot more stuff you gotta take into account, like time it takes to reach a certain place you're gonna be attacking, time it takes to defend, how many people you can send, how many people actually can intervene in that attack or defense, and the kind of troops you're sending, etc, etc. It gets pretty complex and it gets pretty hectic sometimes. It's actually pretty fun. So all in all, I gave you a very basic and brief rundown of what's going on in this game. You're gonna have to play for yourself to actually experience it and really get to know everything that there is in it. And I tell you, it's actually pretty fun. I really enjoy it. It's something that's perfect for just like letting it do its thing while I'm at work. And once I come back home, I can actually intervene into it and play some PvP, or go ahead and do my daily chores, which I will be talking about, and just like get into the power grind, which is actually very fun, just getting stronger and stronger and competing in different events and versus the rest of the people in your own server. So I'm gonna leave the links in the description if you want to be downloading the game. It's gonna be free, of course, on Android and iOS. If you use my link, you're gonna be helping the channel out a lot. You can also use my gift code Midway. If you want to be using that, you will be getting some free woodies. In fact, I am gonna be trying to use it now myself, so you can see how it works. You go here in settings, and then you choose settings down here, and then you choose redeem gift. Then you put the code here. The code is just gonna be Midway, and once you exchange it, you will be getting a bunch of free stuff, which I have already used. So as you can see, you are not within the collection period anymore, because it's my own account. I cannot collect that, but anyways, you will be able to get some free stuff out of that, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you in the next video. If you want to be following along, we'll be explaining more stuff about this game in further videos. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.